guys, it's me Tiffany and welcome back to my channel. I have never done a wrap up before, so I'm just gonna jump into it. The first book that I've read of the year is Strange Weather in Tokyo. This is a May-December romance and really different than what I typically read, but I was very surprised by how much I really like this. It's a short novel, but it's a slow burn, but it doesn't feel like aggravating by how slow it is. It feels mature and it feels appropriate. It's about a woman in her mid to late 30s and she runs into an ex-teacher who's about 30 years older than her. And they go to bars occasionally and drink a little bit, share meals, nothing too odd, and eventually something sparks in between them and the whole vibe is actually really whimsical yet mature, and I really enjoyed this. Okay, so the second thing I've read this year is Shuri. I read both, even though on Goodreads I put Wakanda Forever because that's the edition if you want them both in like one graphic novel. My library just didn't have that. And I enjoyed this. It was interesting. She definitely takes a spotlight. The only issue I had was I didn't really care for the overall villain throughout both of these graphic novels, and the artist changed, and that's just a nitpick of mine. If it's going to be one story arc, I would like preferably the art style to be consistent. Okay, so the next book is on Audible, so I don't have anything to hold up for you. It's called Concrete Rose by Angie Thomas. It is, I guess, a prequel to The Hate You Give. It's about Maverick and about when he becomes a father to 7, which both characters are mentioned in The Hate You Give if you haven't read those books. And I listened to this in one day. I loved it. I listened to it, I guess the day it came out, like some point in that day. And the narrator is good. And it was interesting to see the mother-son relationship and then see how Maverick becomes a teen father, and he's a single teen father. And you know a little bit about this, but you get a lot more details, and that's something you don't see a lot in general, any media about single teen fathers. It's always single teen mothers or something of that aspect, and it was an interesting read. I would definitely recommend it, especially if you like Angie Thomas books. So far, everything she's published has been gold, so I definitely recommend this. Okay, so the next book I read was The Great Hunt by Robert Jordan. This is the second book in the Wheel of Time. I had like 6 months in between books because of just the hold at the library, so there's that. And this is easily the longest book I read of the month, and I really enjoyed it. I was kind of unsure about actually like picking this up because the first book dragged pretty heavily, especially in the middle. And this one had a part in the middle that dragged, but it was not nearly as long of a drag as the first book. A lot of the complaints I would have had about the first book were definitely improved, so it makes me excited about the third book. And I was definitely more into the plot, and it was more of like better world building, creature creation, the magic theory, the way society, just everything just improved. And like I just enjoy this so much more than book 1, and I'm glad I picked it up because it makes me so excited for book 3. Okay, so the next thing I read was a play instead of a graphic novel or a book, and this is also a reread, A Raisin in the Sun. I read this for the first time my 9th grade year, so my freshman year of high school in a drama class. And, like I said, this is a play, and it's based in the 1950s in the south side of Chicago with the Younger family. They are an African American family, and they're just trying to make their lives better, especially for that time period. And the grandmother is expecting a life insurance check from her husband dying, and some of the family have opinions on how she should spend it. She knows how she kind of wants to spend it, and it's just about how the family interacts and motivations to make their lives better. And I definitely enjoyed this. I enjoyed it when I first read it and saw one of the movies in my freshman year, but I felt like I got more out of this as an adult. And as a side tangent, I am trying to reread all of my actual required readings from high school as an adult. And it's not like a set goal that I have to do all of them in a year. I've been at this for a couple of years now, and I was excited to get back to this because I had a lot of fond memories going over this in class. And yeah, if you haven't read this, this is a classic, and I really think most people would enjoy this. Okay, so the next thing I read was Super Fake Love Song, and it was cute, but I think it could have been shorter. It's not a long book. It's right over 300 pages, but I think it could have been cut off around 200. Like, I think it would have done better as a novella or maybe just a short novel. But that's just my opinion. But I do think it was cute. It's just some of it just felt kind of like, while there is character development and stuff, I just felt like it could have been shorter. And it reminds me of like the late 90s, early 2000s sitcoms where like it's usually the boy, which in this, it is the boy pretending to be in a band or something to try to get a girl or get more popular, whatever. And it kind of has that similar plot going on because he fakes being in a band to impress the girl. And I liked it though. I did, but this should have been a little shorter. I think it's because I've seen very similar plots in TV shows and stuff. And while it has other things going on in it, you know, it is what it is, but it's still like an averagely good book, just it didn't wow me. Okay, so the last 4 things I've read of the month are in the same series, the same manga series in particular, so I'm just gonna group them together, and I don't really want to go too far into the summary of these because I'm about halfway through the series. I'd rather do it as a whole. But Mushishi, I read the first 4 and I really enjoyed this. Like, I've seen the anime like years ago when I was like 17 or 18, somewhere around that range when it was on Netflix. And I always had it in the back of my mind that I wanted to read these, but for some reason, I can't remember. I think they're out of print or they were, or some reason they were expensive. But I finally got my hands on them when I realized the library here has the entire series. There's 10, so I'm about halfway through. I enjoyed this so much. I do think the second one has the creepiest vibe of the two, but there is a story in the 4th one about white bamboo that made me like go, ugh. But it's about a dude who he can see Mushi, which is a supernatural bug, and it can mess up people's lives even though it usually doesn't do a lot of harm, and he can't stay in one place too long because they are attracted to him. Something about him being able to see them attracts them to him. So you see a lot of different people's lives in these, and you know, it's great. I am so excited to get to volume 5, which I've got to pick up in a couple of days. Okay guys, that is it. If there's anything you would like me to make a video of as far as tags, more wrap-ups, anything like that, let me know in the comment section below. If you've read any of these or want to read these, let me know that too. I would love to have a discussion with you, and I will see you later.